Andrew Wilkie, are you happy to come up the front? Andrew Wilkie, Senate candidate.
Thanks, Bob, for the invitation to attend the meeting tonight, and it's a long night, so I'll only be a few minutes. I want to start with an apology to Ben Quinn. Ben and I were on a stage 9 days ago in Hobart at Claremont College, during which I had a real go at him for being a member of a party in which people were not allowed to stand up for what they believe in and speak their mind. And since then, he's proved me wrong. He has stood up, and good on him. Now, while I wish Ben well, I want him to come second in lines, because I want the Greens candidate, Karen Cassidy, to come first in line. But I hope, Ben, you come a very close second. And you know, it's interesting, I met Ben in January 1980, believe it or not, when I was a cadet at Duntroon, and Ben was a couple of years ahead of me at Duntroon. And it's interesting that I've learned that Peter Wish-Wilson went through the Defence Force Academy and spent some time at Duntroon, is that correct? Yeah, it's so we've got quite a little military. It could be very, very helpful, you know. Look, I just want to be here not to entertain you, but to simply say I'm with you all the way, and I'm taking every opportunity I can as the Greens' #2 Senate candidate to talk against this polluting, disgusting abomination, which I don't believe will be built on the Tamar. Because at some stage, common sense has got to prevail in Tasmania and has got to prevail in Australia. And I know you won't, and I never will, support any mill, be it in the Tamar or anywhere else, that pollutes our water and our air, that initially will largely come from our native forests, which is inefficient with water at a time when we need it more than anything, and a mill or any mill that is proposed for an area where the locals don't want it. If someone can show me a mill that will not pollute the air and the water, genuinely, that is genuinely water efficient, that is genuinely coming from sensibly sited and sensibly managed plantations, and is in a place where there is overwhelming popular support for it, then let that mill be built. But not this abomination on the Tamar. You know, it's personal. This is very personal for me, because I had a fairly tortuous time for a few years on the mainland over the Iraq War. And I moved to Tasmania to get on with my life a couple of years ago. And I thought, what, at this magical isle, I moved down there, and I was very attracted. I was very attracted to the natural environment here, and I thought, what a wonderful place to settle down and to start a family and to get on with my life. And it seemed that almost straight away I learned the dark side of Tasmania. The fact that the state government is rotten to the core. Rotten. Rotten to the point that I'd say it's corrupt. Absolutely, deeply corrupt. There's no doubt about that. It's corrupt in its processes, and it's corrupt in its relationship with the Gunns Corporation. And I'll be very, very pleased to see the end of that government. Because I love this place. I chose to move here, like I know a lot of you have chosen to move here. I love this place. And I am just appalled that so much of it has already been destroyed forever. It can never be remade. And the rest of it is at risk. You know, a few weeks ago I went in a light aeroplane, I circumnavigated Tasmania, and I saw from the air what's left of this wonderful place. And in the areas I flew, often 50% or more was under plantation. Some of the best prime agricultural land in this state, which is some of the best prime agricultural land on this planet. And I saw great areas of plantation up in the state forest. In the headwaters of the creeks and the rivers, that we rely on to live and to grow our crops and to drink. And that's not good enough. Now listen, we can do something, well, we can do lots of things about this. We've talked about the financial side, and we're now here talking about the political side. But remember, there are 3 political competitions on at the moment. There is the council elections, which we're going to get to shortly. There is the House of Representatives, which has been addressed in great detail by this fantastic group of candidates. Remember, the 3rd competition is the Senate. And don't forget, the coalition parties have a 1-seat majority in the Senate. Don't forget, the ALP would need to win something like 11 extra Senate spots to gain control of the Senate. It is highly likely that the coalition will lose control of the Senate. It is virtually impossible for the ALP to gain control of the Senate. There is a real possibility that the Greens could win the balance of power at this election. Now, it's a long way from happening, and it may not happen. But I just ask you, with all my heart, to do everything you can to help that happen. Yes. Because the Greens is the only political party which has unambiguously opposed this pulp mill from the start. And I can assure you, without checking with Kevin Rudd or anyone else, I can assure you that if the Greens win the balance of power in the Senate, we will do everything we humanly can to use that political power to negotiate and to bring an end to this stinking mill. Remember, Bob Brown's the #1 candidate, and one of the reasons I wanted to be his #2 was to back him up and to make sure he gets re-elected. Because it'll be a sad, sad day when we don't have someone as decent as Bob Brown in the Senate in Canberra. So, you know, the first job is to get him re-elected, and then after that, who knows where we might go. Thank you.